What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Toshi today. This is at the request of Ha 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 or Ja Ja Ja, one of those two. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's do this. Okay, here we are at 307045. Closing yesterday, the last 2 days, a little bit to the downside after you had a little pump here. That was a nice reprieve. You had a nice little breath of fresh air here from the low to the high. You moved up 72%, man. That's crazy. That's some crazy volatility there, especially with what you've done throughout this whole range. I do think that Toshi is getting ready to move up higher to new all-time highs. I do, and I want to go over that in this video, but I want to first just kind of analyze this stuff back here and see what we're doing relative to this. So let's see. Again, you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. High to low here from 304 to the low of 301. Wow, that's crazy. All the way down, or all the way up to the 2272. Back down for support at the 1272. I'm not saying that this line has to hold. You know, if you break below it, sure, you can find support down here. It doesn't mean you're going to zero, but you know that could happen. But what I very much do believe is that you don't break this line. I think the fact that you found resistance at the 2272, you found support at the 1272, that's a fairly common thing to do. It doesn't happen all the time. Oftentimes you hit the 2272, you actually find support at the 1618 or the 1886. But if you do have these deeper retracements, it normally stops at the 1272. So yes, I see it right here. I see that you wicked a little bit below the 1272. I'm not worried about that. I don't think that matters at all. You didn't close below there, did you? That was just a moment in the day. Somebody panic sold. All this to say, just with what you're doing here, I would assume that not only do you go higher, but you probably see the next areas in the fibs, right? Let me make you aware of how I look at the fibs here, right? So the primary target area, when you go from your high to your low and you're breaking out to new highs, new relative highs, you have a primary target zone. That's your 1272 to your 1618. Okay, you just obliterated this. You literally stopped for a day at your 1414, but other than that, you just obliterated it, which is a testament to the strength that this thing has. Okay, this was probably Coinbase buying, right? Coinbase and maybe other exchanges buying too, but definitely a strong testament to this move and the strength of this coin as an overall kind of statement there. 1272 to the 1618 is your primary zone. The 1886 to your 2618 is your secondary zone. Okay, once you break above the 2618, you gain access to the 2886 to the 3786 zone up here. Okay, so something at a minimum of 0.00325 would be your minimum target, and at the maximum, something around 1.5 cents could be your target. I don't think you go to 1.5 cents. You don't have exchanges buying you, right? Oh wow, is there no Binance? Is Binance the only exchange that doesn't have this? Oh wow, maybe Binance could accumulate some. I don't know. Maybe there is exchange buying going on. That could be, you know, if Binance lists this thing next, by the end of March, I could see Toshi being worth over a cent. Yeah, it could happen. It really could happen, right? It's basically the same move, right? From a low to a high. I mean, it's like quite literally the same move. I'm just saying. Binance is a bigger exchange too. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think that you're going to see this by the end of. I mean, inevitably, I think that you will. But by the end of March, I think a more appropriate target area would be right there, just above 0.5 cent to right here, just below 0.5 cent, something like that, at a minimum 0.00325, which that 357% move, that's the minimum target. That still outperforms the average coin. So for anybody who's new to crypto, for anybody that's looking for a crypto that's more or less a quote-unquote safe bet, it's a meme coin. It just got released on Coinbase. It's pulled back a lot. But considering all that, I still think that it's a relatively safe bet. I don't think you go too much lower. I don't think that you return to the 1272. If you do, it's about a 19% drop from here, but I think that you would find support. I don't think that you go lower. I'm not saying that you make this move right now and that in 3 days you're going to be up there, but I think that soon enough, maybe next week, you will start to see some results that suggest that we are in fact breaking out of this downtrend and getting ready to go higher, right? I don't know how much higher we're going to go in the next week, but certainly by the end of March, I would expect that we are at least here, at the most here, and likely somewhere in between at about 0.0046 to 0.0061. And that, again, just for reference, from the current price at 307, that'd give you about a 550% pump to a 750% pump, something between a 6.5x to an 8.5x. Likely in the next like month to month and a half. So Toshi looking phenomenal, man. Let's do some short-term analysis. Okay, let's do some short-term. I want to put the ribbon on real quick before we get into the short-term. I just want to see if there's anything that I might be missing. The daily ribbon looks great. I think the daily ribbon looks great. You could consolidate more is all that this is saying, but you don't have to. Whenever you get above 3075, that's essentially how you know that it's time to go, in my opinion. When I say when you get above, when you close a daily price above there is what I should have said. Weekly doesn't exist yet. 3-day, yeah, it doesn't really exist. What about the 4-hour? You kind of respect the 4-hour, don't you? Wow. Kind of. Yeah, you kind of do. It might make sense because you're such a new coin, but I don't normally look at the 4 hours, so whatever. Not a whole lot off the ribbon there. That's okay. Let's go back without the ribbon and do some short-term now, okay? So short-term analysis. Looking at the 1 hour time frame. If it'll let me. Oh, wow. I hate how it does that. Something's wrong with TradingView. Something happened recently where whenever you go back, it doesn't include the indicators that you used. It'll include any drawings and stuff, but it doesn't include the indicators. It's just something I've noticed. It's kind of a pain in the ass, honestly. I don't like it. That's not a good. I don't know if that's a bug or that's an update, but if it's an update, it's more of a downgrade than an upgrade. Finding support at the 0.5. A lot of cryptos recently have been finding support and resistance at the 0.5. It's not normal, but recently it's pretty normal. Your 1 hour time frame has a downtrend, a very pronounced downtrend in the RSI, of which it looks like you're breaking out of right now. Yeah. Parallel channel all the way down here, ended in the oversold zone. That's like the minimum requirement is to get oversold to break this, and you've done it. I think you're breaking out right now, Toshi. Now, I want to be clear. Just because you're breaking out of this now does not mean that you're going to go through the roof. It might imply a little pump right now, but it doesn't mean you're going through the roof or going to those targets that I was mentioning right now or tomorrow, right? This will probably play out over the weeks, over the months to come, right? But it definitely suggests that you're done going lower. It definitely suggests that that was your low and you're not going lower than that anymore. I would like to see you get above, really I'd like to see you get above 3079, but I think getting above 3073 is a start, but 3079 is the finish to putting this in as your ultimate low, right? You get above this red line, and it's very unlikely that you would go lower than this, right? It's already pretty unlikely in my opinion, but it only gets more validated at this area up here. So 3079 is a good area that you want to hit. With the 1 hour breaking out of this, I did say that that could merit some kind of pump. I don't even know if it merits a pump all the way up to here, but something a little bit higher. I'm sure Toshi moves up over the hours to come today. I think that it does. It's definitely a nice trend so far. Don't be surprised if it moves up and then it moves back down. You know, if it takes its time, just because it's breaking out doesn't mean it has to do a breakout move in price. It could still figure itself out, right? That's all I'm trying to say. Ooh, hold on. I think this is a diamond. I think that's a diamond top right there. This little divot right here, that gives it away. And then just the symmetrical look here on the ends right there, just like that, right? It's basically, it looks like a perfect diamond, actually. Diamonds are pretty ugly patterns, and that's an ugly pattern there. You broke out, not at high velocity. That's uncharacteristic of a diamond pattern, but your breakout point was here. What is a characteristic of diamond patterns is to break out one way and then pull back through the breakout point and go the other way at a high velocity. So we'll see if that happens. If it is at a high velocity, I mean, that would imply that everything I was saying about breaking out of the 1 hour time frame doesn't mean that you're going to break out now. It would just mean that that's false. Because if this is a diamond pattern, likely whenever you move up, it's going to be at a high velocity. Okay. Let's see. We're at about 3071 right now. From a high to a low, I'm pretty confident that's your low. We already said getting above 3079 is a good start, right? And I think that's fine. When you get above 308664, that's how we know it's time to get rid of a zero. It's likely going to go to 201, 20106, something like that in a very short amount of time. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, I mean, this could happen. I don't think that this happens today or tomorrow, but it could. Certainly next week, you guys. Certainly by the end of next week, I would expect that we're up at these areas. 37% to a 50% pump coming in over the next week. It very well could be. Very well could be. It could be even higher than that, right? I might not be bullish enough. Okay, so I'm convinced you're not going lower. Let's zoom out a little bit more. If you're wondering why I mute the mic, it's because I'm clearing my throat, right? I don't think you guys want to hear me just go the whole time, right? You can watch my face while I'm clearing. If you're ever curious, when the mic's muted, I'm just clearing my throat. Anyways, double bottom here is what it looks like. 4 hour time frame looks more bullish than the 1 hour time frame does. This looks like a nice V here. That's a nice V there, V-shaped recovery. Double bottom. RSI on the 4 hour looks phenomenal. Hitting the overbought zone, coming back down to the 40. It's okay to reject the overbought zone. What you don't want to do is reject the overbought zone and go down to the oversold zone. So finding support at the 40 would be nice. Looks like you don't even have to go to the 40 because you've actually found resistance just above the 40, right here, right there. So you're actually finding support right at previous areas of resistance on your RSI, relatively speaking too. This is the 4 hour, so this wasn't too long ago. That's nice. This is constructive. It's actually very constructive. And what I'd like to see now, again, is that you don't go below the 40. Definitely don't go to the oversold zone. What I'd like to see is you return above the 60. If you reject off the overbought zone and before you get below the 40, you get back above the 60 there and you attempt the overbought zone again, it's like 70% or more of the time that you actually do get into to the overbought zone. When you get readings into the overbought zone, as you can see here, whenever you were overbought last, or the only time on this chart at least, that's whenever you get the really strong readings. To get to the overbought zone, you have to produce strong movements, strong readings, right? So all I'm saying is a movement like this, what I would expect that you do here pretty soon, probably over the days to come, probably takes you back up to these highs. High to low. Let's see. Yeah, man. I definitely believe by the end of next week, you're going to be maybe even today, you'll be starting this move. But by the end of next week, I could really see you being at 0.00115, 0.00128, somewhere in this area, maybe even a little bit higher than that. Toshi, man, it likes to move pretty dramatically whenever it does move up. It looks like it only knows one pace when it moves to the upside. So if I'm wrong, I would only think that it's higher, right? It might only move higher in a shorter amount of time. Or I could be wrong in the sense that it's not the end of next week that this move happens, right? The end of next week would be right here, this kind of timeline here by that candle. Maybe instead of taking all this time to go up here, maybe it just blows up there and then it spends the rest of the week consolidating, something like that. I don't know. But at some point, I would expect you do next week achieve prices that are around 2011 to 20128, somewhere in that area. It looks good. It definitely looks good. Toshi, man, making me want to buy. You're definitely making me want to buy here. This might be a good for a short-term play. By the end of March, not just by the end of next week, but by the end of March, the move that I would expect this thing to achieve would be anything from 0.0038 to 0.0065. And that would take you, that's anything from a 5.5x to an 9.3x. Is that right? No, that's not right. We were doing this earlier. This price here, this price on Coinbase is too high. It's too high. It's at 0.0025. That's because that was the Coinbase pump. Or is it? Is it not? Maybe I'm getting it confused with something else. Hold on, let me look at MEXC. No, it's at 0.0023. It probably just didn't reach 0.0025 because it didn't have enough liquidity. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine, man. What about crypto.com? What does that say? What do we got there? 2.3. That one's at 2.3. I want to go with what the average is because that might help us better. That's not going to help us. CoinX, sure. CoinX. 2.1, getting lower, right? I'm sorry. I know it might seem pointless what I'm doing, but I have a point. Okay, I'm trying to talk about where I think it's going to be by the end of March. You know, it seems this 2.3 target is actually more accepted. So I'm going to use the MEXC chart because it has more history. Okay. High to low here to that low there. The targets that I would expect to be between 0.00345, which is from the current price about a 388% move, 4.8x at a minimum, to potentially a 8.1x at the maximum at 0.0057. And you could go higher. you could go higher by the end of March, but let's keep our feet on the ground and say about half a cent to 0.6 cents, something in that area might make the most sense. If you get too much above, if you break above 0.006, you probably don't stop until you're closer to a cent. And then this move goes from being like an 8x, 5x kind of thing to being something that's more than a 10x, more than a 12x, which would just be nuts. But this is Toshi. It's a meme coin. It's on Coinbase. Binance hasn't gotten it listed yet, so I mean a Binance listing could definitely trigger this thing to go up to this price or even higher. So I definitely expect big things for Toshi. If we look at the market cap real quick for Toshi here before we end the video, you're at about a $289 million market cap. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're fully deployed too, right? Fully diluted valuation is essentially the same as this market cap. So yeah, max supply, total supply. I don't know why it's higher. I don't know why, but this is the fully diluted valuation to my knowledge. So yeah, you're fully deployed. 200, let's just call it a $300 million market cap for all intents and purposes. These will be conservative targets more so because of that. $300 million market cap means that if you were to see a 100x, that would put you at about a $30 billion market cap. And a $30 billion market cap for a coin like this, I think it's attainable. It's not a small achievement. It's not something that's like easy to achieve, but it is attainable. $30 billion, even for your first cycle, you can see that. $60 billion you could even see. So Toshi is definitely multi-100xable. I think that it is. Shiba Inu last cycle went from hundreds of millions, even less than that, to like an $80 billion market cap. So I'm just saying Toshi could genuinely see a 200x. It could genuinely see a 300x by the end of the cycle, guys. Let alone the targets that I'm talking about by the end of March. So I guess I'll just end it there. You're at 30699 right now. You have serious potential to see greater than a 10x by the end of March. I'm expecting something more around a 5 to an 8x. We'll see. Minimum of about a 4x, something like that. I got nothing else for you. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I expect Toshi does move up over the coming days. By the end of this next week, you are likely at these highs. I'm sorry. You're likely around these highs here at about 0.001 or higher. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Take it easy. Bye-bye.